Please welcome Jeff Immelt and General Colin Powell. Well, thank you so much for coming to Dreamforce. We're really thrilled to have both of you here. What an incredible conversation we could have between the General and the CEO. Two leaders who I deeply respect, and I thought that we could all learn so much from. So I'd love to get your perspectives on this new social world that we're in. You know, we've seen how it's created this next level of transparency. We've seen how it's altered the Middle East, how it's even altered the presidential campaign happening here in the United States. And I know that both of you have experiences where you're using it in your personal lives or even in your business. Let's start there. General, would you like to take that on?
I think it has been revolutionary development over the last 25 or 30 years. And I'm proud to say, you know, that the United States Armed Forces that sort of developed the internet. We got to get a little credit for that. It's also the United States Armed Forces that put up the GPS that now everybody uses. And so we've been part of this for a long time. However, in my own personal life, as I was saying to the group earlier, I was born analog. And I've been desperately trying to keep up with the digital world. I was on the board of America Online for a number of years when we were adding 1 million subscribers a month, and my gosh, we went from 26 kps up to 28 kps up to 56 kps. We thought that was the most remarkable thing in the world. And now I've watched it all explode to where it is now. And I've watched how it has changed the world. I've watched how the information revolution now allows us to talk to anybody in the world, and how it has reshaped economics throughout the world, politics throughout the world. It has helped brought down barriers between people. It has helped end the Cold War, and of course it had a lot to do with the Arab Spring. And as you mentioned, Mark, here in our own country, how it is affecting politics. There are dangers, I think, with this revolution, especially the social part of it, where we are so interconnected that perhaps we may be too interconnected. And so as we particularly raise our children, we want them to take advantage of these tools. We want them to be very, very literate with the use of these tools. But we also have to make sure we're protecting them and we're protecting our society. So I'm all for it. I'm on Facebook and I use it very, very effectively. I didn't sign up initially to Facebook. Somebody pretended they were me and signed me up to Facebook. And we finally recaptured it, and it is now on my Facebook page. I'm very proud of it. But I'm also starting to see what limits I should impose on my own life in order to protect my personal privacy. But we now have the ability to move information, knowledge, capital, risk, opportunity around the world to the poorest people in the world. And through the use of social networks and the information revolution, we are able to bring hundreds of millions of people up out of poverty. That in and of itself is a great thing that all the people in this room can be proud to be a part of.
On a personal note, I am one of your Facebook friends, one of about 3 million I think that you have. And I noticed that you just had your 50th wedding anniversary, so congratulations.
The story I was telling Mark is that my assistant took a picture of my wife and I being married 50 years ago. We were cutting a cake. My wife had put it in the Washington Post, and my assistant took it out of the Washington Post and put it up on our Facebook page. Just a little picture of a young lieutenant and his new bride. I was getting ready to go to Vietnam, so we had to get married on 2 weeks' notice as I was going. And she put that picture on the Facebook page, and within about a week, we had something like 8,000 written comments, 180,000 likes, and 2.1 million views. And I thought, this is remarkable. So we took a picture of our 50th anniversary celebration cutting the cake, and we put it up to the first cake cutting, and we picked up another 500,000 viewers.
Jeff, you've been an incredible leader in your company and in the country. world. And how do you think this social networking is changing us and affecting us? And has it touched you in your business or in your personal world?
So I'd say the first thing I would say, Mark, is that one of the things that you have to do in a company like GE is stay young and fresh. So we are a 130-year-old company. You're a 13-year-old company. You're like Edison in our nomenclature at GE. So you have to constantly say, how do you stay contemporary? And I think we always accept technology. I'd say one of the pillars of our culture is to be a learning company and to always want to work on what's next. So that just overarches everything. And then, you know, for GE, we have 300,000 employees in 140 countries, over 9 big businesses. So in my world, I'm always fighting size and bureaucracy. And what social media does for me is it gives me access to customers and employees where I can just go over the top of whatever exists. So I did a chatter feed with our mining Salesforce this week, and I get raw data that I can then go talk to all the managers in the chain and say, what's going on here, guys, come on. Which, by the way, you like to do every now and then, right? Just so people know what's that you're looking. So it gives us access, it gives us speed. And then I think for the people in this room, I always think about what's next, and the ability in our world to go man to machine, the ability to marry kind of real-time customer data with real-time performance data of our products. That to me is kind of the holy grail in our business. I tell the story on jet engines. If we can save just in the GE installed base 1% on fuel burn, that's worth $2 billion in profit to the airlines around the world. Meaningful. So if we can change the way that our engines operate by getting real-time data, that's huge. So I just think it compresses time, it compresses layers, it makes access happen, and I think it's just beginning in some ways.
At this conference, we've been talking about the kind of the imperative to connect with your customers in a new way. We've been talking about connected customers, connected partners, connected employees, and connected products, all as peers. Does that fit into your vision for the future of General Electric?
No, I think you and I have had the conversation, many times. Again, I think, we just, today organizations move too slowly. And by using technology, I think you can move faster, you get more transparency, you get more access, you get a chance that every person in a company our size can be important, and I think that's great. But for our customers, our customers that are hospitals, utilities, airlines, railroads, things like that, they probably have $200 billion of waste every year. And if we can improve the way our products work by having that kind of connection and knowledge, that is a huge target to go after, and I think just gives us more competitive advantage. So I just think speed is what it's all about, and that's how we see it.
How do you think it changes you as a leader? Generally, you've been an incredible leader now through many different generations of technology, and you've seen the computer come into the leadership process and the leadership loop. Now you're seeing it exit. You've seen the smartphone, the iPad, the wireless network. How do you think leaders should change in their fundamental execution in this environment?
I think leadership for any organization is still pretty standard and fundamental. What the information revolution has done, and all the social networks have done, allowed us to do it a slightly different way. And you have to, because the young people coming into the military, or the young people coming into the State Department, you better keep up with them. They're not going to keep up with you, but you better keep up with them. And they come in totally knowledgeable, digitally hardwired. And you have to use that competence that they bring in order to make the organization more effective. But at the same time, they're human beings. And you have to inspire them, you have got to give them a sense of purpose, you have to show that you respect them, you have to trust them, and ask that they trust you, and create an environment of competence and character so that machines don't get in the way of that human interaction, which is so very, very vital. would fundamentally change the way I did business, both as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and as Secretary of State, because now there is so much transparency, and we're moving so fast that we have to respond to every bit of data that comes in, every transaction that takes place. It can't sit waiting to be looked at. It has to be acted on immediately. And you have to make sure that you have channels in place to distribute the information in a safe and secure way, but make sure it is usable without overwhelming the entire system.
You've mentioned trust and transparency, which are two words that I spend a lot of time focused on in my own organization. And we've seen that turn up as a big issue in the Middle East, especially in the last couple of weeks, and as it connects to the social networks and even through the Arab Spring. Do you think that those Middle East leaders, do they need to take on a different type of leadership stance in regards to trust and transparency?
The potential is there, but you have to have leaders who are comfortable with the technology and not terrified because, you know, these young people are going to march against me if I let them see what's going on in the rest of the world. But these leaders won't be able to stop it. You can't stop it. Vladimir Putin can't stop it, and the new Arab leaders can't stop it, just as the ones who were displaced can't stop it. And so you've got to pedal faster to keep up with the young people who understand this. And you have to really be following it and acting on what you're seeing. When people are marching in the street, or a vegetable peddler in Tunis sets himself on fire and he launches the whole Arab Spring, and every Arab citizen can see what's going on in every Arab country, you can't just sit there and ignore it. You've got to respond to it. And so the challenge in leadership these days, whether it's in the Arab Spring or a great company like GE or a company what I do for my life, you simply have to see it, understand it, and integrate it into everything that you're doing, because your people are expecting you to do it.